Rights Commission, Friday, September 9th. Could I have roll call? Lee Stewart,
Kayla Crosby, Kim Knight,
Joe Scapelli.
Scott Forster.
And Elliot Ramondo.
all right, due to a lack of quorum, we can't make any decisions or vote on anything tonight, but we can have discussion. And were there any, public comments?
Nope, I'm glad, done.
Okay.
I will say that we, as far as Corporation Counsel's office, we continue to get complaints regarding the sign on Buffalo Street, with the epitaph regarding, President Biden.
I have a report on that.
Okay.
oh, great, I wondered how that
You
went.
go ahead.
I didn't know if we should do it tonight or wait for everyone to,
You can go ahead with the report.
I'm sorry?
You can go ahead with the report.
So, when I left the meeting the last time, I pulled in front of the house because I was full of zeal. And, the husband, Matt, wasn't home. I didn't know his name at the time. His wife came out. We had a very nice conversation for 45 minutes. We actually developed a kinship and an understanding. And I told her I'd like to speak with her husband because she said she talked to him and let him know the feeling, but couldn't guarantee anything. I said, look, thanks for listening. I really appreciate it. Got her a Tim Hortons card and said, enjoy the coffee, because I appreciate you listening. Then about a week later, I happened to drive by and Matt was outside. Him and I talked probably for 45 minutes. He had expected me because he watches these.
Nice, okay,
So he expected me, he knew I was coming. We had a wonderful talk. I made a couple of offers. One would be after we had talked and gained a real good relationship and maybe going golfing together and things like that. Based on his service and his father's service and his grandfather's service, he's come to a point where he believes he needs to stand, and that is his method of standing. It brings up conversation. I offered to have him come here and speak on his own behalf if he'd like, during the public
Sure.
forum. I spoke to his wife about that, and obviously, up to this point, I'm kind of the liaison, I guess. And that is that he, feels very strongly that America's going down the tubes and nobody's listening, and that's his method of voicing his concern and bringing up conversation. He says it brings up conversation. He said he totally respected the fact that I went to him man to man, it didn't come in the form of a letter, which he heard already, and was, and said he respected that I went to him man to man. I offered a new sign and I would pay for it. If he wants to put a sign up, I don't care what he wants to put up, like he had mentioned he was a libertarian. I said libertarians are great people, look it up on Google or something.com. However you want to express yourself, it's your business. I'm not here to ask you to take the sign down here. I'm just asking you to cover up a couple of letters. And he said he understood completely how I felt. And he said he struggled with it himself. But he felt so strongly about the fact that discussions need to take place in this community, and that's the way he's gonna get them going. So with that said, it's not coming down, and it's not going to put another sign up that I told him I'd pay for, but we still may go golfing. I think he said to me, I really apologize to you how bad you feel every time you walk by here, or get that feeling and thought when you walk by. He said, but that's something I have to do. With that said, there wasn't anything more to say, and we left as friends to further communicate. Asked him if he wanted to come over sometime and talk on my porch if you wanted to, or if you need me to come up for him, or whatever. Kids need anything. It was a great conversation, I can tell you. It was not contentious in the least. He stood by what he believes. I respect that. I may not like it, the verbiage, but I certainly respect it. With that said, I would think that ends my report on visiting that house. I don't know if there's any questions you may have regarding the visit or any topics covered or anything else, but it's pretty much what I have to report.
Did he ever say any issues he wanted to have discussed?
It was a general feeling that the country's going to hell in a basket based on liberal thinking. And, you know, he mentioned points of contention, some of the things. I did not engage in I did not, speak in any way regarding his contentions, because if that's what he felt, what am I gonna say? And not only that, but my views are my views, his views are his views. It's not about me, it's about him. And I made it about him, because it was about him and what he thought. So I listened. He started to bring up some particular areas of concern: inflation, rising gas prices, all these kinds of things. And you can see it happening right in front of you from his viewpoint of how we're going down the pike. And the only reason I invited him to come here, I thought, was to express that that's why he feels so strongly about how he does. And if you heard his story, Matt's story about his wartime and his family's wartime, I basically told him, I didn't serve. So you have more of a right to speak than I do. You paid a price. What did I do? So I'm going to respect that, and I'm going to let it go. And when I go by there, I got to be honest with you, I don't feel so bad. Not because of the verdict, but because I understand the heart from where he comes from. It's not a malicious heart. It's a great heart, a caring heart. It's his way of expression of his heart. And who am I to say anything about that to another man? So, I'm just grateful that him and his wife accepted the conversation and were so courteous as to have a talk. He said he received a number of anonymous letters. He said, I wish they put their return address on so I can address their letters, but they didn't. He said, the fact that you came here man-to-man, face-to-face to discuss that is very well respected. And that's all we could do. Let's give him a viewpoint. That's it.
And I honestly think that's what anyone wants, is just to be heard.
Just to be
And
heard.
understand, you
Yep.
won't ever agree with everyone and everything.
Right. And it isn't even, my politics and his politics may not agree, but it's really not the point. The point is the methodology through which we express those differences. I think that's the issue. And it's America. I mentioned to him too, you can't yell fire in a crowded theater for everyone's protection. There's got to be boundaries to free speech. I'm wondering what they are. And to him, I think it borders, for him, I believe, and I would love for him to speak, but I believe while it's contentious, for him, it walks a border, but it gets the attention necessary to have people talking. Okay?
If I can maybe help you, Elliot, if you get more complaints.
I've directed them, the city code, in our opinion, allows him to, have that sign. And, I've given the individuals who complained, that section of the city code which they can review. And
I think at this point forward, you could mention that a member of the commission went to speak with him and given them the flavor for which we speak, and perhaps in some way it might soften the blow. Yeah. Can't hurt.
no,
So I think we did the right thing and decided to go speak with him.
Okay. It was accepted, at least from
I'm sorry.
It was accepted, at least from his term, his point of view.
Yeah, yeah. And I did say, I'm one of the members, he says, I know, I expected you to come. I saw you speaking, I said, good. I said, good.
Just my opinion, I think we can express our feelings and, watch the verbiage so it doesn't affect our youth.
I think that's all of our point.
Right.
I think you're
I,
right.
I don't have a problem with anybody expressing themselves, anybody having a difference, because we're all different, you know. There's some things in politics I agree with, some things I don't agree with. But I'm not here to get into politics, so. All right, thank you very much. Any other issues that come up?
If I could continue with the brochure,
It's on our agenda.
Mr. President.
It's on our agenda.
Oh, I didn't know that. I don't have a copy of the agenda, sorry.
We cannot do the budget ratification even though I think everybody voted yes.
Didn't we vote
Will
via
it
email?
stand via email,
but
or
we
it
have-
doesn't?
Can we vote via email?
I don't think there's any prohibition against it.
We did, some of us did.
Yes.
Other commissions will do that, when they don't have a reason to meet on other topics.
Maybe we can send an email out to everybody, please vote.
I think everybody did, everybody really ratified it, everybody approved of it, as far as I know.
Can I have you speak up just a hair? I'm sorry, I'm old.
Everybody approved of it, as far as I know.
Yeah.
Via email. We were just gonna formally approve it
Here.
here in the meeting. So I don't think there's, anything for budget except for the items that we wanted to do for this year.
Correct. And that was Billy had the,
Lieutenant and table,
yes, but he had the design for the shirts and things. I think we need him, maybe that could go back on for October, so we could
okay,
get that.
for the logo.
Right. I wanna say he sent us an email with the logo and the wording, correct?
Did he send the email?
Yes, maybe it was just Dan and I. If he did, if ever you're on
Well-
with me, then I will definitely share that. I will ask Billy if I can share it and, yeah, because I was looking through Jamestown Rubber Stamp Company. I don't know if the city, is there one person, like, does the city always go to cycle shop for things? I don't
Well,
know.
however we do, I think we have to go to Scott. I think Ware said.
So, I was looking at through the Jamestown Rubber Stamp Company,
Okay.
so I could get all that
Yeah,
to you.
once we, I'll figure out where we gotta go to get it all, yeah.
Okay. Cause they had banners, they even could do pamphlets for you, Joe.
Mhm.
The t-shirts, you know, I'm just thinking logo.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think he said something about a logo, I don't know if I've actually seen a logo.
Yeah, there is, I wanna say, yeah, he might have just sent it to Dan and I when we were discussing budget things.
The budget numbers came out. I mean, we got those and voted on.
Right, I think just, you know, when we're hashing things out between just the three of us on an email, I want, if you're all looking at me like you didn't see it, then I'm guessing
Yeah,
that it was
probably
just
just you.
Dan and I. And Bill, so Billy was working on that.
Okay.
But, and then I know, and that was a few weeks ago, and Billy, unexpectedly had to go to Puerto Rico, so maybe he's still
Oh,
there.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
okay, so then this is just, sorry, an email thread between the budget, so maybe that's where Billy still is right now.
Okay. Okay, so the logos,
I think the logo and the verbiage for the shirts is all taken care of from Billy.
Yes.
okay,
Yeah, and it did look,
all right, pretty good. The next thing will be the brochures.
Okay, so as, Scott, you weren't here last time. Do you know your rights brochure and it talks about our 4 basic tenets that are on the internet site. Then it talks about each subcommittee, like education, quality education aims to ensure the development of blah, blah, blah. And then the veterans committee, all the different committees, and then who the committee heads are.
Mhm.
So I was asking the last meeting if I could get a capsulization of your subcommittee, meaning education, I gave you an example, and then the name of the person who's in charge of that committee. On the back will be listed all the names in the subcommittee, and if it's okay with you, we'd like to use your email address to it, so that when they come in, you funnel them to the proper, subcommittee.
Okay.
Is that okay with you, Scott?
Should be alright, yeah.
What is your email?
Weren't we supposed to get an email for
I
the,
actually think there is an email, right? Didn't, there was on the brochure that got sent an email,
What
that got
brochure?
sent out. It was a copy of that, that Michaela
There's
sent
no
out.
email, there's no email on there.
okay, they were supposed to set up an email for the, Human Rights Commission.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
And I was thinking, didn't we all get our picture taken?
Picture taken.
And then we already wrote a blurb, and that's on the website,
It's on the
correct?
website somewhere.
That's
Supposed to
So
correct.
you click under that, so couldn't we just use all of that?
I don't
Or you-
understand. So here's somebody who doesn't know anything about us, they're looking through it.
Right, no, I mean to take those photos
Oh, we don't need the photos.
and the
All we
verbiage.
need, all we need are what is the subcommittee name and who's the head of it, and what email address we're gonna use for people to address their questions. So if we can do that, I can get moving on this thing.
Mhm.
We're 2 months into it and, just, we gotta move. So if I could ask, you're in charge, who's in charge of the, I have education, veterans, religious, LGBTQT, mental health, I think there's an Afro-American, I believe. So who's heading these commissions?
Right, well, a lot of people have left, so that's just it. I think we need to really have everyone here to talk about what group they are.
I
I'm
thought-
still the education youth.
You slash
Yes.
you?
Chris was veterans, so
Yeah, I don't
that's,
think anybody's,
LGBTQIA was Justin Hubbard. He's no longer with us.
Well, disability is, Dan sent me a thing on disability and his name and everything. If you could, yeah, so we have to decide who's on what commission,
I
okay.
have the African American group.
Okay. You'll be. Okay, does that, education, try to spell
Yeah, what do you want?
your last name, not your first.
Nine,
Huh?
Knight.
Duh,
Okay.
duh. How do you-
NIDHD.
Okay, and nobody knows veterans, religious, LGBTQ,
Yep, I think all of
Gee,
those
No,
relate.
all those are vacant.
and so,
So, and then I think that's what we were kind of like, aren't we like circling this conversation again by instead of us having these groups, that we should just be going out into the community to the places that are already, like you have a connection.
that's what we're gonna do.
Yes.
Mental health is myself and
We
Mo.
just sit.
So her and I are gonna go on the list and visit with them. Then, the religious can go to the religious, the
Mhm.
veterans, whatever your subcommittee, you can gather information as to how we can help them better serve. But if we don't know who the head of it is, it's kind of tough to ask anyone to do anything. So I will table this thing again until we have a,
Yeah, no, but I'm thinking that, like, if one of us, say, I know, Councilman Dulce's having that, talk this coming Thursday at, isn't it Christ First, or right there on the corner?
but
yeah,
in
like.
order
The
to-
healthy neighborhood,
Yeah.
right? So we should,
yeah, we should all go to something,
so,
of course.
yes, those kinds of things.
Right,
I think
it's
we need to
general.
address.
But for the sake of putting this together so that the community knows who we are and what we do and who to get a hold of and what their questions might be about, we need to determine, or if you have questions, just email, for now.
An email was sent out to everybody with a copy of that
Yes.
brochure in it, that believe had an email address attached to it or in it already. I'll look, I can't pull up my phone, I'll have to look on my computer to see, but I wanna say that,
Oh, City of Jamestown.
yeah. I believe there's an email already attached.
Scott at City of Jamestown.
Yeah, that's not correct, no. But
Okay.
we'll come up with a different one, otherwise, yeah.
Yeah, we have, that hasn't been established
Yeah,
yet.
we'll get an actual,
That's why I said I'll just table this
Yeah.
until, I don't know, until we develop who's what on what committee, and if we're gonna fill this out, you know, who's on what committee, first of all, and then an email address, and then I can finish it up and print it out, or get it to council to look over, and then print it out and get it distributed. Okay, that's all I have, because there's nothing else we can do until we get to that point. Kayla, are you on a committee, do you have a committee? No? I didn't know.
Okay, any exploration group or updates?
What did you say?
Exploration group updates, these groups, so I was wondering if you being at our last meeting for that equity index, and then you said that you knew, for
That's a-
Reverend,
That's a
what do you
different
call it?
topic.
That's on there too?
Huh?
That's on there too?
No, I was gonna bring it up. That's a
Oh,
different
okay,
topic.
cool, gotcha. It was just something I couldn't wonder about.
Do you have any information at all, was any information given to you since last meeting, or at any time regarding the equity index that was given to the mayor? Okay.
I'm asking for exploration group updates.
Right.
If there's no updates, then I'll go to the next topic. Okay, now, as far as the equity index, I did talk to Reverend Clark. We were waiting for the email to come out with the link. We got that, I sent that to him, but I had not been able to talk to him again. Because he's very good at analyzing that type of information, and he thought it'd be a great idea for us to network with the IDEA group to try to put together something for this equity index.
Industrial development.
That through the
IDEA?
United Way, the IDEA, that's exactly what, Eddie told us the last.
IDEA.
Yeah.
I thought it said
And then
IDEA.
capital IDEA.
So he's been busy, I've been busy, we haven't had a chance to sit down and talk about that again. But I will contact him probably this week to look into that. That's quite it's a lot of information. And I think they would have a better resource of compiling that type of information than we would.
If I may for a second, Scott, it's just gathering information to better serve what areas in the community we're lacking.
yeah.
Okay?
We had a meeting with, Reverend Clark
Then you're aware of it.
2 weeks ago maybe, the chief and I did. So, and I know they have a lot of, they have a good structure. I think you're right, I think they're gonna be able to gain a lot of knowledge and get a lot of stuff from that.
For all those different businesses, that's what they do, is analyze that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I was swimming, trying to figure out where to start,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, they have a good, I mean, they've been working on it, they've got a lot done with that stuff, so I think that's probably gonna be the best
Yeah.
resource for it.
So I'll probably have an update probably in the next meeting.
Cause I would like to help, I think we all want to help with that.
Yeah, I just wanted him to have a look at it and see what his thoughts maybe to where to start with that. They pull a lot of information from a lot of these different resources. And of course, we wouldn't be the one to manage that, but to try to help figure out layout.
I think the mayor's asking us to manage it though.
No, we can't manage that.
But at least.
This is beyond our scope.
What did he ask us to do? What was his?
He asked us to give some input.
Input?
Some rich
I
research.
thought it was to do research.
I
Rather
thought
than
it
have
was-
categories that we want them to bring the data points from.
Mm.
So he wants us to research what different communities utilize and then come up with a list of what we want
Mm.
him to pull from the county.
Mm.
So it's
That
talking-
works out good, huh?
It's talking with people, that's what we need to be doing, talking with the real people in the community. Because people can gather information all they want from surveys, but then I tell you, I could talk to 200 parents that have absolutely no idea. And we're never surveyed, you know what I mean? And that's in every school all across the city that have never heard anything about that.
So I think since you bring that up, I think it would be a good idea even to go back to our exploration roots and ask them what's important.
Right. Mm-hmm.
What's the exploration group?
That's pretty much what you're trying to get compiled into that pamphlet.
Got it.
That's what we're calling, that's,
The numbers of
What they
the
work
commission. Okay.
you know, 'cause as much as everyone thinks that they get things out to the community, if people don't, I don't know. I would
Yeah,
say-
because, you know,
I would say 45 or younger does not get the Post Journal. You know, not at all. And so then anything that's in the newspaper, no. I would say 20 to 32-year-olds are listening to WRFA, that's about it. Maybe, and older, you know, like there's just pockets of people that are getting their information from different, you know, there's still. So you need to, like how you talk to that man to man, it's really face to face with people. So they feel like
Matter
they're
of
heard.
fact, go back to him, ask him, what kind of equity issues do you think is important? I'd like to hear that.
But to go back, the equity issues, for your friend on Buffalo Street, maybe he would be a good place to start with, what does he see for this equity index?
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Along with, you know,
All the way.
everyone else, not just,
I mean, because he's looking to have discussion and open up, I think we would have some interesting comments. I'm gonna go back to Michael, we haven't had a meeting in quite a while, and I talked to the leader, Shalom, and, asked her, if we could have a meeting just to update on some things, and I would like to present that to them also. We have to somehow reach all four corners of Jamestown.
What I personally would like to do is, once these are printed out, just go out in the community and just talk to people, hand these out and just start talking, period.
Sure.
That'll stir a lot of, discussion. But, you know, something they can put in their hand and look at and get an idea of what it's all about. And it might, I would suggest that it would garner interest in joining also from some people who don't either know or about it or feel compelled but don't know they can if they wanted to, so, you know, we gotta get the first base first, I guess.
I think that would be great, I think that would be good to have some type of focus meeting or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was suggested that maybe attach ourselves to some of the, local events,
Just like
maybe
they
stir that up.
Sort everything. Mm-hmm.
So I think there was an issue coming up with the, indigenous people when it was trying to have some kind of awareness or something like that. I see the email on it. And so maybe we need to link some of those.
Right. I would say maybe Justin's doing something with that through the Jamestown Justice Coalition. Do you think you saw that through Justin?
No, I seen an
No?
email
Okay.
through Human Rights somewhere.
Okay.
Is that the Zion Covenant group? Jamestown Justice Coalition?
No, that would be the Jamestown Justice Coalition. It was started by Justin Hubbard, and he runs, that. That
What-
started, I can't speak to when, I would say,
After
after George Floyd's murder and the Black Lives Matter rallies in Dow Park, and then
Mm-hmm.
Justin formed that coalition.
Who heads that?
Justin Hubbard. And he used to sit on the commission with us.
Okay,
Used to be.
any other points of discussion that we need to discuss?
Is there new business yet, or no, are we on new business? Could I say? I don't know if everyone gets these emails from Luke Fogger about the, working with Journey's End for the refugees
Oh,
coming, but there's 2 programs coming up, and I really thought out of the 2, one was called Home Again, one was called Community Sponsorship Pairs. I was thinking that Human Rights, we could band together for the Home Again group. It's a one, can I just read, is this okay? Anyway, Home Again is a one-time volunteer opportunity, with groups to gather new or gently used household items, basic furniture, bedding, kitchen supplies, bathroom supplies, toiletries, anything to furnish an apartment for newly arriving refugee families. The group, so our group would be responsible for storing the furniture and household items until the setup, which I would be happy to gather things at my home for that. And then they were saying that it would be approximately 4 to 5 hours of donating the time, where you would come in, clean the entire apartment, assemble furniture if necessary, and just readying the house for families.